Now, and also you talk about how women are getting a lot of testosterone because they're going to work and they have a hard job. So now when they come back from work and they need to sit down and talk and get their oxytocin back, how much of that time should be spent talking to their boyfriend or husband versus talking to their girlfriends or other avenues other than their life partner?
That's a very good question. Generally speaking, talking to a girlfriend will produce social bonding progesterone. So 18 days of the month, that's going to be most important. The 5 days around ovulation are the most important times for her to do that with her boyfriend or husband, with her counselor, with her coach, with somebody who is not going to do the same in return. A girlfriend, you share, when women share with a girlfriend, the other girlfriend, yeah, I know, I feel the same way. Okay, what you want is somebody who doesn't feel the same way, but can actually empathize with your feelings. And that actually connects women to half the population of the world. When you can get a man to listen to you, part of your soul goes, oh my God, I just crossed the great divide. A man actually understood what I'm feeling. And that only happens, or particularly happens, when a woman learns the skill of actually identifying the words of her emotions. Frustration, disappointment, I feel concerned. You could say, oh, I don't know what's going to happen this afternoon. They didn't call me. All right, a guy's kind of like, well, don't worry about it. But if you actually say, another woman goes, oh, I know just how you feel. I was worried too. They're not going to call. Okay, so for women to get the social bonding, they don't really have to articulate clearly the emotions. But with the connect for pair bonding, if you articulate, if you say to a man, oh, they're not going to call, I don't know what to do, as opposed to, oh, I'm feeling so frustrated. So-and-so said they're going to call. I'm feeling disappointed because, if they don't call, we might miss out on this thing. And I'm concerned if we don't get there in time. Where a man can actually connect with you 100% is to the degree that you're actually able to feel that negative emotion. You have to feel that negative emotion. And I wish it was the case. I want this to happen. I so much want to be there. Positive emotion is wishing and wanting and needing. Positive emotion is, I'm so grateful though that we even have a chance to do it. And I'm glad I could talk to you about this because I feel so much better now. I just feel happy. Thanks for listening. When you feel an emotion, a man will connect with you. And that's the connection between male to female, one of the most powerful ways. Not to say you can't connect a little bit. My wife's talking to me. I can certainly connect somewhat. But we live in different worlds. Men and women live in different worlds. When a woman says, oh, my feet are aching, these high heel shoes are getting to me. Come on now. Men don't wear high heel shoes. It's not like we know what that's like. She says, oh, I got to adjust my dress. I mean, how many men know what it's like to try to adjust your dress and cross your legs and all this stuff? It's like, oh my God, I have to go out in the dark to do this. Men have no idea what it's like to have the vulnerability of a woman to go out in the dark, to go out into the world, to go from one place to another to your car, and you don't know who's going to be there and whatever. Men just don't have those fears. We don't have that level. We have some, but not to the extent that women have. There's some tough women go, I learned karate, I can take care of myself. Well, you took karate to take care of yourself because you're afraid. That is underneath. That's the motivation behind all your toughness, is that vulnerability, which is women are more vulnerable, period. And they live in that world. So to share the emotion, a man doesn't have to have the same story in his head as you, but he will experience the connection with the emotion. So that's the key to practicing. You can practice that with other women. Then you can also practice it with your partner. And the times you need it most from your partner are during those 5 days. But during the 18 days after your ovulation time, a little bit of it is really good because it will always help to lower your testosterone, bring back your estrogen. Then when your testosterone is lower, then talking to a girlfriend for more. Doing something with girlfriends, doing something for yourself, doing something, watching your favorite sitcom, whatever it is that you do for you and not for somebody else. That's what's most important in progesterone. And that's 18 days of the month. That has to be the dominant hormone. Estrogen is there too, but progesterone is here. Estrogen is kind of floating up and down below the progesterone. But if estrogen becomes higher, which is too much pair bonding, will increase estrogen higher than progesterone. then that's a huge problem for women. That's called estrogen dominance. And for 18 days of the month, she have low sex drive. She's going to be more irritable. She'll have more stress. She'll feel more overwhelmed. She can, you know, all the way down to feeling suicidal right before her period. That's when it most happens, because she runs out of progesterone. So this is like, we have to recognize that these hormones are real stuff. And I just have to throw into all the women listeners that, stress and being on your male side is enough. Your relationship with good skills can help bring you back to finding balance and actually create a better life, because more masculine and feminine together is a great thing. You can go on Wikipedia and look under the word hysteria. And up to 1950, it was a scientific diagnosis. And until women got more on their male side, it was very common for women who didn't have jobs because they had a husband who supported them to become hysterical. They would actually become fully hysterical. They'd faint. They'd have these big fits. This started back in the Greek days. And we saw it there, particularly with women of means, because it was a status symbol for a woman of means, meaning a guy made a lot of money, for her not to do anything for herself. So you see these movies of women having somebody else comb their hair for them, and they dress royalty and dress you. Is that in China, they had these little tiny things that kept their feet, and they wear those little dresses to show they can't move much, and they sort of tiptoe around. All that was to say this woman doesn't have to do any work. And that was big status for her and for men. But the problem is these women became hysterical. They were overly emotional. They were indecisive. They were unhappy. They were depressed. They experienced tremendous anxiety, and they called it hysteria. And ironically, the worst thing you could do for them is what they call the treatment, which is don't let her do anything. Let her rest. The last thing a hysterical woman needs is a rest, and she needs to have a job. She needs to get herself out there and do stuff to make testosterone. She needs responsibilities. Also, she needs to be making progesterone as well, but she becomes estrogen, too much estrogen, not a good thing. Not always a big problem today, but it can be a problem during those 18 days if she's primarily looking to love from her relationship partner. She needs to look, you should go 10%, and 90% is her progesterone stimulation by having a life.